at Fairfield Central, another spring tour, 2015 high school football. Of course, they are wrapped up here, but we want to sit down with Coach Davis. They come off a great season last year. I know he may not call it great because they didn't win it all. They didn't bring home the trophy, but still, when you get 11 wins, it's a great year, Coach. And of course, I know going into the spring, you had that in the back of your head. This is what we got to do to try to get that trophy. This is how we have to practice. Just talk about your spring and how things been going.
Well, spring's been good. You know, sometimes when you have a setback or two, or you lose a game that you feel like you shouldn't lose, you know, it gives you a little added motivation.
Right.
You know, kids were great. You know, they was enthusiastic. So I think we had a pretty productive spring.
You have good players up here, Coach. This is a program that's kind of been rich for a lot of years. You go back, you know, with Coach Kennedy being here, what he left, and you coming in, you work with this guy. I mean, talk about the program. I mean, I remember coming here years ago, even speaking to the school. They breathe football in this place.
Well, football is important, you know, and it starts from the top. Our superintendent, you know, is a great guy that's about athletics. You know, our principal, you know, Miss Willie, she's all about athletics, and our community. You know, Friday nights here is a pretty special deal.
Right.
You know, there's not a whole lot going on in Winsboro on Friday night, so you know it's important. You know, and at the same time, you know, in being the head coach, you know, to whom much is given, you know, much is expected.
Right.
So they expect you to win here.
yeah, expect you to win at a high level, that's for sure. But talk about some of the players that you got coming back. I know you're losing one of your players. You told me you're going to Tennessee, but you got a good core coming back?
Got a good group coming back. We started a sophomore quarterback last year, Stanley McManus. I mean, he's going to be a junior this year, so we're expecting big things out of him. Josh Bell played defensive back for us. He's going to probably go both ways this year and play running back for us this year. On defense, we pretty much bringing back majority of those guys back. You know, we had a lot of sophomores that contributed last year, so these guys will be juniors. So hopefully we can get those guys to jail and see if we can make a run at it again.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You guys kind of always somewhere around my passer picks top 5 because I know you employ that type of talent here. But when you look at your team, I know I was joking with you about some of the stuff you had drawn up on your board right here. You said there's not a whole lot. So for me, I took from that, you're about the basics. It's about, you know, running the football, being physical up front, playing defense. Is that the mindset of your coaching?
Well, I think we special teams here is big. You know, we like to pay a special attention to the small things. You know, if you do the small things excellent or excel in the small things, I think the big things will take care of themselves. So we start with special teams. And next we go to defense. We feel like we can stop people from scoring, we at least got a chance to tie the game 0-0. You know, and then offense comes in next. I mean, but offense, you know, doesn't take the back seat. But, you know, if you got those other things in place, we feel like, and we're fundamentally sound, we feel like we got a chance to do something.
So I ask you, if I had to ask you, if there was one thing that you can look at your team and say, we got to do this better to be state champs, what would that be?
Well, I think we got to execute better in big games. You know, offensively, in the past 2 state championships that we lost, and last year in the upstate championship that we lost in Newberry, offensively we didn't execute good. And that just comes back to paying attention to the details and just doing the little things right. You know, and I think sometimes, you know, last year I think that stage got a little big for some of the young kids, you know. And I didn't do a great job last year of having those kids prepared. So I think we just got to go back to the basics and just pay attention to details.
Well, finally, Coach, I want to ask you about this. Of course, this jumped out at me when we walked into your office. You had the coach's Bible. You talked about the Bible study. Your coaches are here. So, you know, faith and football, we hear this a lot now. So that's very important to your staff and what you're doing here with the kids.
Well, I don't think we could do what we do without it. You know, it's very important, and, you know, we don't make everybody come to the Bible study, but if you want to be on the staff, you need to be there. So that's something that we do, and Andy Heen does a great job of coming, and, you know, the staff really enjoys Andy coming, so it's a big part of what we do here.
Really had a nice time visiting with Coach Davis of Fairfield Central. Of course, his office was about 3 floors down. He liked to call it the dungeon in the basement, but nonetheless, has done a great job. I talked with the principal. The principal said, hey, Corey, we got the T-shirts, but it's time for a ring. So, Coach Davis, you're on the clock. That's going to do it for sports. We'll come back and wrap things up here in just a moment.